This is the Good Government Show.
Remember, this is the energy capital of the nation, if not the world. I have over 200 refineries, manufacturers in my precinct along the Port of Houston. You get to see nature in its most undisturbed state. That's why I'm proud that we received the Best in Category award by NACO. Look, I've been blessed to have a good life. I want to make sure that I leave it as healthy as I got it for the next generation. I've been working to make people's lives safer and better as a cop. I think I can do it as an elected official. Government is important, but government also has to be practical and very, very focused.
You're about to be surprised. I know I was when I heard a story about a huge oil and gas company becoming partners in saving a big tract of natural land in Houston, Texas. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on social media. Make sure to review us and send our show everywhere. Send it to all your friends. We all need to talk about good government. On today's show, I'm talking with Adrian Garcia. He's a county commissioner in Harris County, Texas. This is Houston, home to the oil and gas industry. But it's also bayou country. Low-lying marshes and rivers dot the landscape, in many cases right alongside refineries and other oil and gas plants. Balancing industry, jobs, and environmental protection can be tricky. But Adrian Garcia is going to tell you how he does it. When ExxonMobil put land up for sale, the commissioner saw an opportunity. He protected the land and turned it into parkland. For his work, he was awarded a National Association of Counties Achievement Award for protecting the prairie. Two things to know about Adrian Garcia. He's another former cop who wanted to continue his public service after leaving the police force. And he has a commitment to the environment, as you'll hear. On a personal note, he's a fellow pilgrim. We are people who walk the Camino de Santiago in Spain. It's a heritage route known for the amazing walks that can take you from France or Portugal through Spain, and it's known for its historical significance. As we say when we meet fellow pilgrims, buen camino, good Camino. Basically, we're saying, hey, have a good walk on the Camino. So coming up, fellow pilgrim and Harris County Commissioner Adrian Garcia. We have a new partner here on the Good Government Show, HelloNation. This is a new digital magazine that showcases the best of cities across the nation. We'd all prefer if good news traveled faster. At HelloNation, positive stories don't just get told, they get amplified. HelloNation helps businesses, leaders, and communities share positive stories that matter, building trust, credibility, and meaningful connection. Through professionally produced podcasts, digital features, and targeted distribution, HelloNation positions you as the answer regular folks are looking for, while expanding and scaling your digital footprint across the platforms that people trust. Good news deserves momentum. Your city or your business can help spread the word of good news across the nation. At HelloNation, they don't just have advertisers, they have advertisers. Editorial content from trusted community leaders and cities that are helping spread the good news. Let HelloNation lift you up and lead the conversation. Visit HelloNation.com to learn more. Once you wrap up this episode of the Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm happy to have with me Adrian Garcia, who is a commissioner in Harris County, Texas, which is the greater Houston area. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
And you're here to collect your achievement award at the National Association of Counties for something called Protecting the Prairie, the Armand Bayou Conservation Project.
That's
correct?
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
So first of all, tell us a little bit about Harris County. What's going on in Harris County?
Good deal. Well, first of all, hello to your listeners. And look, for those who do not know Harris County or are not familiar with Houston or only know it by name, remember, this is the energy capital of the nation, if not the world. I have over 200 refineries, manufacturers in my precinct along the Port of Houston. So to be able to have a natural preserve in this area is immensely big, you know what kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so
Because there has to be a balance,
There
right?
has to be a balance, absolutely. And, we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to, number one, protect the environment, and secondly, protect the community, because my precinct rides along the Port of Houston. And so I get incredible storm surge, as people may have seen during Hurricane Ike, that led us into a conversation about creating the Ike Dike. So the Port of Houston exists there. I have NASA in my precinct. I have 1,300,000 people that I directly represent. And so it is an immensely critical area for the region of Harris County, but absolutely because of the energy capital, it's important to the state and to the country.
So tell me what the Armand Bayou Conservation Project is. What is this?
So Armand Bayou has always been a natural preserve for decades. Again, it's in the Clear Lake area, so it abuts the water channel that comes into my precinct. And so for years, we've been able to enjoy an effort to preserve the habitat, to preserve the wetlands, the marsh that we have there. And it's been a dual benefit, because we've been able to not only enjoy the protection for the habitat, but we've also been able to improve the flood mitigation efforts that we're constantly working on in Harris County.
So two wins there: protect the habitat and protect the people.
Exactly. And now when this
and storm surge
and all that
goes with it,
and then we hear that ExxonMobil has 1,100 acres of old wells that just aren't materializing or producing anymore, and they're about to put those acres on the market. Our concern was that
was there any environmental hazard to what was left behind by ExxonMobil?
No, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't. So before I took on those 1,100 acres, I pushed for a strong environmental assessment. It came back good for us, so then we moved forward with the purchase. But 1,100 acres could have become developed area, and that's what I didn't want to see happen. And so I worked on it. We probably worked on it for the better of 2.5 years.
Okay.
And finally made it happen late last year.
And this was your idea?
Yes.
Yes. What made you decide to do this?
Well, look, I
just taking a shower one day and said, "Hey, you know what I need to do?"
Well, when I hear that ExxonMobil is about to put 1,100 acres on the market, obviously it gets your attention, especially if it's in your area.
Yeah.
So as we looked into it, and then we talked to our preserve board, the Armand Bayou board, and talked to them and to the CEO and say, "Hey, look, this land's about to go on the market. What do you think about the idea?" They explored it a little bit more. They took on the commitment of the maintenance and the expansion of it. So it became a huge win-win. We were able to apply American Rescue Plan Act dollars to it.
Okay. And
it's just been an incredible thing. I mean,
so to describe the Armand Bayou. You talked a little bit about it. I mean, you said their habitat. What's going on there? Who lives there?
There's probably hundreds of different bird species that call that place their home. Secondly, alligators as well. And, hey, we're the Bayou City, so
sure.
It comes with certain neighbors. And so when you go there, and different types of plant species, it's just gorgeous. The one thing that the Armand Bayou folks do is that they provide a pontoon tour through the area.
Okay.
Electric pontoon. Nice. So number one, you're not polluting the environment.
It's not airboats like in the Glades. They have pontoons.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
But we also use an electric motor so that you don't scare any of the habitat, and you can see them just living and moving around.
Is this, other than taking a ride through it, is this an area that for fishing or hiking or
no fishing,
is
hiking,
any recreation?
I mean just general relaxation and appreciation of the environment. It's a great place to visit. We have many schools that come by, and we provide classes for them, teach them all about the plant species, the animal species, the birds.
So is this now a giant county park?
It is it's been a park. It's one of my parks. But the biggest thing for me, again, going back to that, the energy capital of the nation is in my precinct. I'm also proud that I partnered with a energy industry partner to make this the largest wilderness preserve in the state of Texas.
It's the largest preserve in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when you purchased this land, did this like double the size, triple the size of the Armand Bayou?
It probably, let's see, we had about 3,000 acres. So about 20%.
Okay,
about 20%
increase.
Yeah.
You have a panel of experts with you, or are they nodding their head and saying
you're giving me the hand signs?
So you're accurate. 20% larger.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah, it is.
What could have happened to this had it not been extended
if we hadn't
the
been
bayou?
successful at it, and look, it wasn't an easy prospect to acquire this property. What could have happened is that ExxonMobil could have simply said, you know what, we don't like your the offer you're making us. Quite frankly, we don't have to entertain the idea of your offer. We're going to put this on the market, and we're going to get as much money as we can for it. That's what could have happened, and it would have, in all likelihood, gone to a developer that then would have created a devastation effect to the flood mitigation and the habitat that we had out there. So we wanted to keep that from happening.
You said a developer. What would they have developed there?
They would have developed homes, condominiums, community, hotel, who knows?
And all that could have happened on marshland.
All of that could have happened, and it would have been just a huge, huge detriment to everything we're trying to do there.
And the worst thing you can do to marshland and tidal basins is develop it.
That's right. That's right. So again, ExxonMobil, I hope people don't lose sight of the fact that a oil and gas company agreed to work with us to give us a under market piece of property that we have now been able to expand our wilderness preserve and make it the biggest in Texas. That's to me, that's a big deal. That a oil and gas company who's all about money.
Okay. Thanks for saying it, so I didn't have to.
Yeah. It's all about money, and they could have just kept that thought process in mind and gone after it.
Were they good and willing partners in this project?
They were. They were very, very reasonable, very patient, and the most difficult point in the negotiations was me. I did not want to buy this land if it was contaminated.
Right.
If it had strong environmental problems. I didn't want to acquire it.
And you said they were capped oil wells there. Are they cleaned up now?
They're cleaned up.
Did Exxon clean them up?
Exxon did it. They made sure that there's going to be no problems for us. And we wanted to make sure that we could sustain the maintenance of it, as well as the Armand Bayou Preserve, that they could raise the money to maintain and protect the area and make sure that if anything happens with those wells, that we were in good hands.
Well, it's certainly nice to hear that ExxonMobil we're good environmental citizens and partners.
Go buy more ExxonMobil Mobil gas. I'm a big cheerleader.
I don't know if I'll do that, but it's nice to hear that they were helpful with this.
Yes.
So, what's the future for the Armand Bayou Conservation Project?
Well, the future now is the responsibility that the conservation has taken on, and that is to raise the money to further protect the area. And do all that they need to do to fight against invasive species, whether animals or plants, to make sure that it meets its continued ability to flood mitigate in the area. So that's the responsibility future of it. But the future of it is that generations are going to continue to be able to enjoy an area that is peaceful. It's very relaxing. You get to see nature in its most undisturbed state. You get to come across wildlife out there in a very natural environment. So it becomes a very, very special place in an urban jungle like the city of Houston.
This sounds like good government.
It is.
It is.
It absolutely is. That's why I'm proud that we received the Best in Category Award by NACO for county resiliency in infrastructure, energy, and sustainability.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Have you always been, have environmental issues always been forefront? I mean, you talked about the fact that you're an energy city. Is this one of the...
I'm one of those kids who saw that commercial of a Native American canoeing down the river
No, you're as old as me.
Yeah, and then to see him crying, that really made an impact on me.
This is a public service announcement where back in the 60s, I think, an American Indian was standing on the side of the road and they threw trash at him.
Yeah, exactly. And so that made a huge impact on me as a kid. And so the environment has always been important to me. And so, yes, I'm an elected Democrat, but I am so proud that I have always received the endorsement of the Sierra Club and other environmental organizations because, look, I've been blessed to have a good life. I want to make sure that I leave it as healthy as I got it for the next generation.
And is this a challenge in the city of Houston, which you said was the energy capital of America, if not the world?
Yes, it absolutely is. Look, we're an urban jungle, and every day.
And I've been to Houston. I mean,
we're growing. You've got concrete all over the place. And so it absolutely is a challenge.
And oil and gas is, the number one industry in your city.
Exactly. And so
how do you as a county commissioner balance the needs of, having a strong industrial base and job center, but also preserving the environment and making sure that the energy companies are held to a standard?
At the end of the day, I'm a very pragmatic individual. If industry is doing their job and they're abiding by the rules and following the laws and working hard to be a good partner, they'll have my support all day long. The environment and compromising the environment is non-negotiable. I'll never back off of that because I think it is a both and. You can do both and make sure you continue to grow industry jobs, continue to support that industry and the economy it creates, but you also must commit to protecting the environment. I think it's critical.
Is that hard?
I don't think so. It hasn't been hard for me.
What did you do before you were county commissioner?
For 23 years, I was a Houston cop. I got elected to Houston City Council. I was appointed mayor pro tem to then the former under Secretary of Energy, Bill White.
Okay.
Then I became the first a person of color to be elected county sheriff in my county, the largest county in Texas, third largest in America. And then I got elected as county commissioner.
So you're a police officer?
I'm a cop.
Like, what did you do as a cop?
I did all kinds of fun stuff, man. I did patrol, undercover work, investigations, community relations.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
All right. Interesting career path.
Yeah.
Did you expect to run for office?
No, I never did. It wasn't my idea, and others thought I could contribute. And then I thought about it and I said, you know what? I've been working to make people's lives safer and better as a cop. I think I can do it as an elected official.
So any other good government environmental issues you've championed as city council?
Yes.
Sorry.
No,
as county commissioner.
County commissioner, yes. Yeah. If people recall, we had the incredible ITC fire that was the explosion of several chemical tanks in my precinct. It created the largest black plume over the entire city of Houston for about a week. And it took us about a week to finally find out what was burning in those tanks. As a consequence of holding the CEO of that company accountable, the American Chemistry Council provided me $1 million grant that I have been able to use to buy mobile and permanent air monitors that are more contemporary and read the right type of, or can provide the right type of readings to really tell us what's in the environment and is it a concern to the general public. And then we were able to construct a process to do tabletop exercises so that our neighbors I've got 14 mayors in my city, in my precinct. And so that my
14
neighbors.
Mayors.
Yeah. 14
that must
mayors.
be easy to negotiate.
So it allowed me to create a tabletop exercise that we refer to it as the good neighbor policy, meaning that industry's got to be able to communicate and share information. We have got to be able to work with industry and share information. The community has got to be at the table as a stakeholder, and we all need to be working together when environmental challenges are occurring so that we can all be recognizing that we're neighbors at the end of the day.
This does sound like good government.
It is.
All right. That was the easy part.
Yeah.
In a minute, we're going to get to the hard part.
All right.
The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host, journalist and author Larry Platt, talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. All right, so I have a few questions I ask you, and I ask everyone who comes on the show. So a long career in public service. Define good government.
To me, good government is, look, I'll give you this perspective. I always say that from the front seat of a patrol car, I've seen where government has failed and where government has done well. I mean, when you are patrolling an area that is incredibly crime-ridden, and then you drive a block over and you're in a totally different economic class of a community, to me, that's a failure. And so I have always worked to make sure that there is equity and responsibility across the ability to run government. So for me, it's been to a certain extent a fiscal conservative, but making sure that where we do spend money, that it is value added. It's not just spending money to spend it, but making sure that it enhances people's lives, that it helps keep people safer, that it helps to keep people healthier, and that it helps to create jobs and protect jobs.
If people don't like what you're doing or what government is doing, what would you like them to do?
Tell me where we can do better.
People are scared of cops, though.
No, look, people know, look, the other thing, some people are afraid of cops, but the other thing too is that cops know how to walk into tough conversations.
That's true. Yes. So you carry that with you to the county commission.
That's right.
All right. What drew you to public service? I mean, did you start off your first job as police officer?
I came out of high school. I was one of the last classes that the Houston Police Department allowed to join when you were 19. I couldn't even legally buy bullets. I had to tell my mom, if you're going to the store, pick up a box of bullets for me.
You had to buy your own bullets?
Yeah. Your own gun and your own bullets.
Wow.
And so, so I had an incredible career in the police department. At the tail end of my career, I was appointed by Mayor Lee Brown, former police chief, former drug czar.
Right.
He appointed me as the director of the mayor's anti-gang office. We were having incredible challenges. And so he and the previous mayor were looking for ways to make the community safer and keep people from taking that path of getting involved with criminal street gangs. That gave me a lot of notoriety, if you will. When bad things happen, the media was always asking me about it. When good things happen, the media was interested in it.
Thanks for being a cop to talk to the press, by the way.
That's right.
Thank you.
And so as a consequence, I think people began to look at me in a different light and said, hey, why don't you consider running for office? I refused the idea because I kept saying, I'm a cop, I'm not a politician. And but then, my wife and I talked about it, and she said, look, you're doing good work. You might as well have the title. So she supported me, and I did it. And it's been an incredible experience.
Who inspires you?
So many people inspire me. My dad, above all. My dad was, look, I'm the only American born in my family. My mom and dad and my brothers are all born in Mexico. But I remember how my dad treated people. My dad had an auto mechanic shop that we all the boys worked in. I have 4 older brothers and an older sister.
Do you still work on your own car?
I do. I can tell you what's wrong with it, except the new ones. The EVs are harder to diagnose. But people would walk up to my dad's shop and ask him for money, and my dad would say, I don't give money, I give jobs. And so my dad would help people work and be productive and contributing members of the community. He was always compassionate. If someone was hungry, he'd give them food. If someone needed a place to sleep, he gave them a bed. And that type of attitude that my dad had I think had a lot to do with why being in public service, being in elected office, is a good and important thing to do.
You said that you never envisioned yourself running for public office, but all these people who were saying it to you, did somewhere in the back of your mind think, yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to be the mayor. I'd like to be the police chief.
First of all, I didn't understand politics. I didn't understand the process of how you get elected. And then being a kid who grew up in a tough neighborhood where tough things happen, I didn't come from money. So I didn't know how you raise money to do all these things. And so thankfully others believed in me and supported me. And here I am today.
So how long have you been a county commissioner?
I was elected in 2018.
Okay. So a few years in, and then other service before that, city council. So with all that experience, plus your experience in the police department, what would you like people to know about government?
What I want people to know about government is that government is important, but government also has to be practical and very, very focused. Because government with the wrong leadership can go in so many different ways that ultimately do not impact the daily lives of the average person living in the community.
Okay.
So I want people to know that the effort that I try to bring to government and governance is to keep it practical, keep it focused, and make sure that it's impactful to every person living in my community.
What's the best part of your job?
Really talking to kids, because I see them as the next generation.
All right.
I see them as the next generation of leaders. And so I really want to make sure that kids grow up with their heart in the right place and with a vision for better things for all people.
What's your biggest concern?
My biggest concern is that there's a lot of noise, and that it's easy to get distracted. And so I'm hopeful that at the end of the day, we'll find a way to find more in common with each other and be able to disagree respectfully, but also be able to work together diligently.
So I've been to Houston once. I was there for a rugby conference, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I'm guessing I'm going to ask, what's the cuisine of Houston? I'm guessing you're going to say some good Mexican. Where do we go?
Hey, look, first of all, Houston has become a foodie town.
All right.
We now have Michelin-rated restaurants in the city of Houston.
Okay.
So it's no longer barbecue and Mexican food.
Which are both two great options, by the way.
They are. And we even have a Michelin-rated barbecue place.
Really?
Yeah. So
what's it called?
Which one is it? Is it Truth? Well, I got the Michelin app.
You have your whole staff here. We'll get an answer. We'll get an answer later. All right.
But it's a foodie town, so Mexican food is at the top of the list. My favorite place for good Mexican food is Irma's Original Restaurant.
Not your wife?
Nope, not my wife.
Your mom?
No. I met this lady when I was a cop.
Yep.
She was only selling sandwiches at the time.
Yep.
And she has now become one of the premier locations in Houston to get good food.
Irma's. Okay. What do you do for fun?
I ride bikes.
Right.
I like to read biographies, and I love to watch movies.
So this is the Good Government Show. We always bring it back to a good government project. Tell me about another good government project you're excited about.
Well, look, when I came into office, I wanted to, make an impact. And the staff that I inherited said, well, Commissioner, the best thing you can do is spruce up a park. And that way I'll tell people that there's a new commissioner in town. And I said, well, how much are we talking about spending? And they said, maybe $1 million, maybe $2 million. I said, that's a lot of money to spruce. If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I want to make an impact. And so as I thought about it, I said, you know what? The largest underrepresented minority group in the area is the individuals with special needs. And so I got my folks to study and focus on creating a exclusive special needs park.
Okay.
But when I was on city council, I got to work with the Commission on Disabilities. So I called my old friend who was the CEO of it at the time, and she gave me an epiphany. She said, Adrian, you've only known me since I've been in my wheelchair. But since you've known me, first of all, it was a car wreck that paralyzed me and put me in this wheelchair. Since you've known me, I've gotten married and I've had children, and my children are healthy. They have no disabilities. So I appreciate you thinking about the special needs in an exclusive way, but I want to be able to go to a park where I can play with my children.
Okay.
And so hence the idea of creating an inclusive park came to mind. And we now have the only fully inclusive park for people of all abilities in Harris County. It has become so immensely known and visited I have about over 500,000 people that come to visit it on almost a regular basis.
Wow. Okay.
And people from other counties drive to that park because their autistic children get overstimulated and overwhelmed in other areas. But my park has everything that they need to have a nice day at the park. The challenge I have in Harris County is this, David. We are a unzoned community. So right now I'm fighting a concrete batch plant that is trying to open up next door to that park. I try to buy the property from the owner, and I just am so disappointed that owner just couldn't see the value of the people coming to that park and what that park means to them.
Did you have him sit down with Exxon and explain how this whole thing works?
We tried, we tried, but unfortunately, that is one of the people in the private sector that are not necessarily good neighbors.
I guess not. The park does sound like a pretty impressive project. Adrian Garcia, a commissioner from Harris County, Texas and Houston, Texas. Congratulations on your NACO Achievement Award for the Armand Bayou Conservation Project.
That's right.
You got Exxon and Mobil to the table to do the right thing. That's saying something. Congratulations. And a pleasure to meet a fellow pilgrim of the community of Santiago.
Hey, buen camino.
Buen camino. Thank you. Want to hear more about good government? Check out another show I host, Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. I host the show with Brad Kavanaugh, mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, and the immediate past president of the Iowa League of Cities. Together, we talk to leaders in Iowa cities. We talk about what works and what good government looks like in Iowa. Join us right here where you're listening now. That's Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. An impressive balancing act by Harris County Commissioner Adrian Garcia. He's expanded his natural parkland and worked with ExxonMobil, all while supporting the local economy. In his city, that means working with the oil and gas industry to protect the environment, and he's doing it. Next time I'm in Houston, I want to check out those electric pontoons and take a ride out on the Armand Bayou Nature Center. When I'm done, Corkscrew Barbecue has the star. Brisket's on the way. That's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. Buen Camino. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.
This podcast is part of the Democracy Group.